So hopefully you guys watched all the videos from our trip to Laconia. I went with Big Guy for a couple days. There were some pretty good videos, especially that one video when we went to Harley Davidson of Rochester, and Tim was there from Wisconsin, and he's the gentleman that actually makes that Apple CarPlay piece. So if you missed that video, go back and check it out. It was a really informative video. Sorry if it's a little dark. I have to do this video kind of in a shade because it has been around 100, if not over 100 this entire week. It's just been brutally hot. If you guys aren't kind of familiar with the Northeast weather, it gets really hot, but the worst thing about it is the humidity is just sucks all the energy out of your body. And I'm gonna give you guys my 3,000 mile reviews. And I have about, let me see, I have about 2,200 miles on the Michelin Commander 3 tires. So I'll give you guys a review of the bike. I'll give you guys a review of some of the upgrades, some of the modifications we did to the bike. I think it will be helpful for you guys, but if you guys are looking for that video about the Apple CarPlay, I think I'm gonna do a separate video because I kind of figured out, or I shouldn't say I figured out, Tim told me what to do to kind of make the Apple CarPlay not have any hiccups, and believe it or not, since I left the dealership, I've had no issues with Apple CarPlay disconnecting. So I will make another separate video about that probably in the next couple days. And also, like I said, definitely check out that video by Harley Davidson Rochester in New Hampshire. That was a really informative video, not only with the Apple CarPlay, but with the hill assist hold. You're just gonna have to check it out. I don't wanna get too much into it. But first things first, 3,000 miles on the bike, zero issues. I know people were saying that they were having, or I know they were having some issues as far as starting the bike. They couldn't start it. That's really kind of the only thing I've been hearing about the bike, and some Apple CarPlay issues. I believe I have the Apple CarPlay issue kind of resolved. To answer some of your guys' questions, some of you asked the question, why don't you just use a Cardo? Well, I can, and so can you, but what if I don't want to use a Cardo? What if my Cardo battery dies? What if I lose my Cardo? What if it breaks on a long trip? I still want the option to be able to connect Apple CarPlay to the bike without having a headset hooked up. That should just be a given. I feel from the factory, I don't feel you should have to use a certain product or headset, what have you, to be able to use Apple CarPlay. All in all, it's fine, but I just definitely want the option to be able to connect to Apple CarPlay without having to connect it to the headset, if that makes sense. But other than that, as far as some people having some issues starting the bike, so what would happen is the bike would actually, you put the switch on, the bike would cycle through, but then you wouldn't be able to actually start the bike. That never happened to me. I know a few people that it did happen to, but I've never had that issue. I've heard a BCM update, software update could help that, or it could be a fix, but I've never had that. So me personally, I've never had any issues with my bike other than the Apple CarPlay, which is no big deal. That's nothing. If I did it the way it was intended to use the Cardo, I'm sure I wouldn't have any problem, but I just want to personally be able to hook up to Apple CarPlay without the headset. So all in all, the bike is fantastic. As far as when it was stock, the suspension is definitely by far superior to the previous models. This 117 has about 5% more horsepower than previous 117 models. Also, this is the standard. Previous standard models came with the 107. You guys know all this. So the bike has a lot more power. Front rotors are bigger. I believe they're like a 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch bigger. So you get better braking. The bike is lighter. The bike feels more nimble. All in all, including obviously that gigantic TFT display with, you know, all the electronics on it, TPMS, all of that, 90-degree valve stems, the beautiful design. I love this design so much better than the previous models. Someone else stated, oh, I should have just kept Mad Max. You guys got to be patient. As I told you guys, the bike, how I have it now, is set up for my cross-country trip, which we are going to be leaving here in the next what, 4 weeks. That is going to be a long trip, somewhere around 10, 11,000 miles, 4 weeks, very long trip, a lot of miles. And like I said, I already have about 2,200 miles on these Michelin Commander 3s, the best tire. I always rocked the Michelin Commander 3 tires, always told you guys I felt they were the best, and I absolutely love the tires, whether it was the longevity, the life of the tire, or the traction, whether it's in dry, wet, cold, hot. Traction is superior. Some people were saying that they were getting a wobble with the Michelin Commander 3s, and I've never heard that before, nor did I ever have a problem with the Michelin Commander 3s. I know another tire manufacturer, which I won't name. Yes, they were having, and it was well known that they were having front tire wobbles, high-speed wobbles at about 70, 80 miles an hour. But as far as these tires, the Michelin Commander 3s, excellent in the rain, excellent traction, and just like I said, a good all-around motorcycle touring tire, which is going to give you a lot of life. And you're gonna see, and this is what I also want to show you in the next couple months. I put these tires on when the bike had about 800 miles, now it has about 3,000 miles, 2,200 miles, the little nubs are still on the tire. So I am going to use these tires, obviously, through my long distance trip. I'm literally expecting to get back home and these tires still being in good shape. So I'll keep you updated on that during my trip. We're not going to be posting videos during the trip of the trip, but I am going to be posting videos, I think, kind of every day during the trip, just to give you guys kind of a heads up where we're at, how many miles we did, how everything is going, stuff like that. So that's kind of what's going to happen. And then when I come back from the trip, you guys are going to get some amazing videos from a month-long 10, 11,000 mile trip all over the country, which I'll be putting out probably starting, like, I'm gonna say probably end of August, all throughout September and October. It'll probably take me about 2 months to put all those videos out. So I think, you know, for a lot of people, when riding season is kind of slowly tapering down, I'll be putting out those videos on our long distance trip. So I can't wait. It's gonna be amazing. We're going to be going to some absolutely amazing places that I've never been to. All right, so another thing, like I said, suspension, braking, just the handling, overall handling and feeling of the new 24 models are fantastic. I don't have any regrets, even though Mad Max was an amazing machine. I built it just the way I wanted it. This bike is fantastic. Now, when I come back from the cross-country trip, I'm gonna be doing this bike kind of a performance bagger style again, but it's gonna be on a 24 model. I just don't want the loud exhaust and a lot of other things that go with it to maybe slightly minimize reliability, or I don't want a loud exhaust because I don't want it buzzing in my ear for 11,000 miles. You want comfort, you want a nice tall windshield to throw the air and the bugs and the rain over your head. You want a comfortable seat, you want a comfortable suspension, and you definitely want a much quieter bike than, say, Mad Max or Silverback was for 11,000 mile trip. Now, come on, guys. Like, you know, maybe if I was, you know, back in my 20s, like, I wouldn't care. But as you get older, you get wiser, and it's not about being cool or tough. It's just about you get wiser, you get smarter, and realize that there's no need to be uncomfortable on a long distance trip, especially for a month. That's a lot of time on a bike and a lot of miles. You know, 10, 11,000 miles is a lot more miles than most people, the average rider, puts on probably in about 10 years. So I just want to be comfortable, and I want to enjoy the experience, the ride. I want to be able to hear my music. That's another thing we're going to go over now. So let's get into it. So other than the bike itself, stock, I love it. I would never, no regrets. I wouldn't go back. Love the new models. I think it's just a absolute superior bike. Liquid cooling. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I've already did videos about it. New bike is amazing. So as far as so far the upgrades that I did, we have a 12-inch Clockworks tinted windshield on there, and my heart goes out to Brian, the owner of Clockworks. I just watched a Instagram post, you know, and he was heavy-hearted because his shop got flooded again. It happened back in 2019, now it happened again. So, you know, thoughts and prayers are with you, my friend Brian, and Clockworks, and to the entire Clockworks team. You guys will get back up on your feet in no time, I know that. You guys are doing great things and have been doing great things for the motorcycle community for a long time. So that's why we rock your stuff. But anyway, 12-inch Clockworks Sport Flare windshield, fantastic. I really am thinking about, just for this trip, going with the 13.5-inch non-tinted clear, just to get that kind of more of a bubble, even more of a bubble. This one, you just feel a little bit of air hitting the top of your helmet, which is no big deal. It works fantastic, and it looks great on the bike. The 13.5, although still looks good, but I think it's just gonna give me, it's really gonna put me in that super, super comfort zone to spend 30 days on a bike, almost 30 days on a bike. So I think I might go with that. But if you guys are looking for a windshield, Clockworks, definitely the way to go. That's the 12-inch tinted, looks great, works great. What else did we do? Just so you guys know, bars are coming. I should have the bars, risers, throttle tube, grips, all from Thrashin'. This thing is gonna look absolutely sick. The bar setup is going to look sick, all in chrome. You know, Lance from Thrashin', you know, they were waiting on getting stuff chromed. Lance said, hey, I could send you out a stainless steel bar, but I said, nah, I'll wait. So that's what we did, and I think they have them in stock now, so we should be getting that in the next couple days. That is gonna look awesome. 9.5-inch kickback riser, chrome mid-bend bar. We're gonna get some, you need the throttle tube from Thrashin' if you wanna use their grips, and they make the throttle tube now, and I'm gonna get some black Thrashin' grips for the bike. You guys know I'm rocking the P54 Thrashin' Footpegs, P54 brake pedal, adjustable brake arm, got the Apex floorboards, and everything on the other side of the bike. Everything is the easy shift inner chrome lever, which is coming. That's going to be changed out to chrome. So is that P54 brake pedal. That's going to be changed out to chrome. And we have the shifter linkage, everything chrome, Thrashin'. We have the outer shifter linkage in chrome. You guys could check that video out, but I'll have links for you guys for any of these parts that I'm talking about. I'll have links for you guys down below in the video description, so you guys could check it out. As far as the pegs and the floorboards and all the Thrashin' components I put on my bike, love it. I wanted to do something different because, you know, Mad Max had the mid controls. I wanted to do something different. I like changing it up. This almost feels, because it's kind of set back a little bit and a lot higher, almost feels like a mid control to me. I like to rest my foot like right here. Brake pedal is right there. I think it looks great, all in chrome. It feels great, and quality is absolutely there. Made in America, made in USA, and that's what I love. I think the bike is going to look awesome. We're gonna finish it up with the riser and bar from Thrashin'. Amazing, highly, highly recommend it. The machining and quality of the parts is awesome. It's just really, really nice, nicely made stuff, which I appreciate. That's good. What else did we do? Okay, next thing, Chromeworks, slip-ons. Really happy that I went this route with the slip-ons before my long trip, as I stated to you guys, because we are going to be changing out the exhaust when I come back. I think it looked like I seen a post, Moonshine Harley or somebody cracked the ECU and is now able to dyno tune the newer models, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure by the time I come back, either DynoJet, somebody is going to be able to tune these new models. So we're gonna cam it, stage 2, and we're gonna change out the exhaust, definitely to a 2-into-1, so stay tuned for that. But for now, I'm really happy that I just did the Chromeworks slip-ons. They sound good. They're not crazy loud like Mad Max or Silverback was with a true full exhaust, but it sounds great. It's just the right tone, just the right sound, that you could still hear the bike. Somebody behind me, it still sounds nice, but when you're on the highway, which I'll tell you guys later, the couple things like how it sounds on the bike, it's just the perfect level, perfect decibel, not to be annoying, but yet for it to sound good. Like I like it. So I'm happy with that. After we did that, we did the Screaming Eagle Stage 1 tuner with the wedge air cleaner. Very happy with it. And I'll tell you why. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I had my 3/4 helmet on and I didn't actually record it, but I will tell you the bike is fast and people were impressed. I ran Sammy, our good friend Sammy, with his 114 Stage 2 SNS 475 cam, Chromeworks 2-2 full exhaust, and he was impressed. You know, he was pulling on me. He was pulling on me very slowly. But yes, this is pretty much a stock bike, but yes, it does have the Stage 1 tuner. But I wouldn't say I still call it stock, even though it has a Stage 1 tuner. Because obviously, it wasn't cammed or anything. I'm still running the catted exhaust, which is, it just kills the power on a bike. But I'm telling you, it is fast. And then I ran Paul in Laconia when we were out there, and he was super impressed how fast this thing is. Same thing, he was just pulling on me slowly. So if you guys are not looking to rip your bike apart, worried about the reliability, even though Stage 2, you have still really good reliability. If you're looking to keep a warranty, man, on your new 2024, Screaming Eagle Stage 1 wedge air cleaner and a set of slip-ons, and I'm telling you, you have a very fast bike. I would say you're definitely beating a 107 cammed bike, 100%. So it's almost, I would say, close, not quite, but close. Don't get me wrong, close, but not quite to a 114 Stage 2, cam Stage 2 bike, almost there. So if you're looking for that kind of power, pretty much on a stock setup, 2024 117 stock setup, I would strongly recommend Screaming Eagle wedge, set of aftermarket mufflers, or you could go Screaming Eagle mufflers. You're good to go. You got a plenty of power, and you still have your warranty, which is huge for people, right? What else do we do? Okay, Saddleman seat. I have 2 of them. I have the Saddleman Step Up, which I'll also have links for you guys down below. Saddleman Step Up tuck and roll, silver stitching, silver logo. And I have which I have on now, because we just came back last week from our Laconia trip. It's the Saddleman Road Sofa with backrest, silver stitching, perforated silver logo. Both are super comfortable. Love them both. If you're gonna be doing a lot of 2-up riding, I would recommend the Road Sofa, because the back of the seat for the pillion is much wider. Super comfortable seat. And I will tell you, for me, primarily for the rider, this Road Sofa and the Step Up, I'm thinking maybe because of the tuck and roll, you know, like the pleats, they're almost like cushions, like air cushions. I think it's just as comfortable, maybe if not more comfortable. That's just me. If you're riding by yourself, the tuck and roll Step Up, I'm telling you, it's on the money. I had it on Mad Max, and that thing was super comfy. I have it again now. I love it. So either one, Road Sofa, Step Up, tuck and roll. Those are the 2 I would recommend. Plus they look great. The quality of the seat is bar none, I think the best. And also the customer support is fantastic. So that's it. And I also have the backrest. So like long trips, this is great. 2-up, this is great. If you got a bad back, I think you could even get a backrest on the tuck and roll, if I'm not mistaken. But I will tell you, I had the Road Sofa on my trip to Laconia. We did about 1,000 miles. With the backrest, it's so nice because not only is the seat comfortable, but you could sit back and you could kind of arch your back, put it into that good kind of arched position, stretch out and just kind of chill out. It's a really good thing to have. It kind of, it kind of just makes you stay at a proper posture, if you understand what I'm saying. It doesn't allow you to cheat, because once you start slouching, you kind of feel that backrest there. Then you could kind of, like, if you don't have the backrest there, if you just lean back, it's kind of hard to kind of get that correct posture, unless you've been practicing or you do have correct posture. That backrest kind of pushes on your lower back, and then your upper back could kind of fall into place. And it's just a much comfortable ride for a long trip. What else do we do? Let me see. I think the last thing, Two more things. Next thing is Wilbers suspension. A lot of people have been asking me about it. A lot of people are asking me, can I tell the difference between a Wilbers front suspension and say a Legends front suspension or Progressive? For me, Progressive in the past was too hard. I heard a lot of people saying that it was too hard. I was always rocking the Legend suspension, including on Silverback. On the front of Mad Max, I had GP cartridges. On the back, I had Legend shocks. But I will tell you, as far as the front, I don't feel any difference. It's definitely, I would say, let me say this beforehand. The Wilbers suspension, front and back as a whole, it's definitely better than stock. That's 100%. You guys could check out those videos as well. And I'll have all the links for you guys so you guys could check out what exactly I'm using down below in the video description. But as a whole, the suspension is definitely better than stock. If you guys are looking to even upgrade your suspension, the Wilbers is a great solution. I will tell you why I think. If you're doing, my personal opinion, if you're gonna be doing a lot of touring, tour pack, cargo, two-up, and the bike weight is going to be changing, that setup on the back, the Nevo Mat Wilbers suspension is fantastic because it's gonna keep the bike level, always gonna keep it level. Whereas if you had the Legends or any other brand or stock, once you start loading that bike up, the back of the bike is going to sag. So now in order to correct that, you're gonna have to redo like your preload and all the measurements and make sure the sag is correct and all that with all the weight on the bike. That's a big pain in the neck if you ask me, especially if you go out on a 2-week trip, you gotta change it and then you come back, you're not going on any more trips soon, then you're gonna have to recalibrate that sag and the preload. It's just a lot of work, whereas this system, it does everything for you. The left shock is I believe is the gas hydraulic shock that actually controls the level to keep the bike level, and the right shock is used for obviously all your damping, you know, your springs there and stuff like that. Me personally, the first couple 100 miles, it was pretty stiff until Mike from Wilbers Suspension, you guys probably seen the video. If not, go back and check that out. He's the one where we went to his shop. He actually installed the suspension there. And I called him, I said, it feels a little stiff in the back. And it was a really quick fix. I just needed some more preload on the right shock, because if you don't have enough preload on the right shock, then the left shock that does all the leveling and that's kind of stiff, that side is taking up that load, and that's why it felt stiff. That's kind of how he explained it to me. But I made 2 full turns on the right shock on the nut to give it some more preload, and now it is perfect. So honestly, when we just did the 1,000 miles on to Laconia, the bike literally feels like okay, how should I say this? This is hard to explain. Not like you're in a boat, kind of, where it's the bumps, it's more plush, but yet when you want to handle, it's weird. When you want to handle, it's there. It's a strange feeling. But all I know is there was no hard jolts. My back didn't hurt, and you guys know I've been having some back issues previously. They're actually getting a lot better now, doing the right exercises for my back to kind of strengthen up my back and core. The suspension works very well. It's I would say a couple times easily better than stock, especially if you're riding 2-up, long trips, tour pack, cargo. You're gonna be changing the weight of the bike constantly. Wilbers, I'm gonna say, is the only way to go, because it's the only system on the market that is going to keep your bike true and level. What if you're even at a rally and you take your passenger, you take all this cargo, the Wilbers Nevo Mat is going to keep the bike level, say from here to Florida. Once you get to Florida, just say you wanna ride around with the boys and not your old lady, for that day, and you take all the cargo off. Now the bike's lighter. So now the bike, if you had stock suspension, now you'd have to readjust. Like, your bike is not gonna ride the same. It's not gonna ride good because the settings that you did on the suspension are for all the weight and the passenger. But then you don't have to worry about that with the Nevo mat because it keeps everything level, which is fantastic. So honestly, I definitely recommend it. It was a really plush ride, the 1,000 miles that we did to Laconia. I felt comfortable. I didn't feel tired. I didn't feel like I was jolted. You guys know what I'm talking about when certain stiff suspensions, you hit a bump or a pothole in the road doing 60, 70, it just feels like this electricity going through your arms and your shoulder or in the back and your spine. So I really recommend it. And it is getting hot. I'm gonna have to close this video out shortly because I am starting to boil out here. Last thing, I believe, hang on, I think tires, I'm getting more Custom Dynamics lights that are coming in. I'll keep you posted on that. Man, I'm telling you, I'm in love with this bike. I just love how it looks, the design of it. Last thing, I got the Stage 2 audio from Harley, Rockford Fosgate, and the upgraded speakers, night and day. So certain people also said you should have maybe got an aftermarket audio system. Nobody has one yet for this bike. You have to understand. I just talked to Tim, and again, I'm gonna say you guys gotta check out that video from Laconia. It's a couple videos back where Tim was explaining the companies do not have anything out for the new models yet. Tim actually bought a brand new CVO a year ago and gave it to Sounds. They still have the bike, excuse me, he gave the bike to them so they could pretty much test dummy their experiment bike so they could figure out how to do the audio system, because he was explaining to me how now it's a digital signal coming out of the radio, and I don't know, too much info for me that I really didn't understand, but check out that video. So for right now, and I'm not only saying for right now, because yes, is the aftermarket better than what you can get from Harley Davidson? Yeah, of course, because that's what they do, right? Harley Davidson isn't going to, doesn't want to sell you a 10,000 watt stereo system that you could win awards at a bike show at. That's not what it's about, right? So yeah, they do make killer sound systems. If you're looking for something stock, plug and play, easy. I installed that literally in about 30 minutes. Amplifier gets replaced, 2 speakers go in. So this is what I'm gonna tell you about the system. Before, with this windshield and with these quiet slip-on exhausts that I have, the slip-on mufflers, if I was doing about 70, 80 miles an hour on the highway, I could not hear the radio. Full blast with the stock setup, could not hear the radio. 60, 70, 80, could not hear the radio. Very annoying. I'd have to slow down to about 30, 40 miles an hour to actually be able to hear the radio. But with this system, the Stage 2 amp and the speakers, guys, 80, 85, 90 miles an hour, going to Laconia, coming back from Laconia. Literally, the volume is only about halfway up at 80, 90 miles an hour. You could hear it perfectly. Now, if you have a full exhaust, a 2-into-1 cammed bike, is that gonna change? Of course it's gonna change. If you had a stock windshield, the really short windshield, is it gonna change? Of course it's gonna change. In order to hear that music better, your surrounding environment has to be quieter. So right now I have a set of slip-ons on it, and I have the 12-inch where the air goes up and over, doesn't give me that wind noise in the ear. Crystal clear, halfway volume up, perfect. All plug and play, factory warranted stuff, so it's great. I will tell you, you do have to get that amp flashed. Again, I'm gonna tell you, go back and check out that video. There's so much, that video has so much good information about the new 24s. It was crazy, and I kind of just fell into that video because Tim was there. And I'm gonna make a whole separate video about it either way for you guys, because I know you guys like that video. But the Stage 2 system is really good. I'm happy with it. There is literally no need at 80, 90 miles an hour to even bring the volume past halfway up. That's how good it sounds. Crystal clear, the highs, the lows, perfect. Could you go with lid speakers? Yeah, of course you can. Do you need it? I'll be honest with you, I don't need it. If you really want it to be loud, like I don't want it to be super loud where now I get off the bike and my ears are gonna be bothering me from listening to a loud stereo, you know, for 8, 10, 12, 14 hours on a bike every day. I think it's the perfect volume, the perfect decibel amount of sound that I need, halfway up, 80, 90 miles an hour, to be able to hear the music crystal clear. Like I said, with the 12-inch and with slip-ons, it's perfect. Once I come back and I cam it and I put a stage 2 on it, will I probably have to raise that volume up a little bit to maybe 3/4 or maybe a little more with all that engine work and a 2-into-1 full exhaust later down the road? Yeah, probably, but I'm sure I'm still gonna be able to hear it because it's that much better. If you do get a stage 2 audio, that's another thing, like I said, keep in mind, get the wind up and over your head, try to get this, create this air bubble around you, keep the exhaust low. But if you're looking to cam the bike and you want a really loud bike, or if you want a 3/4 pipe or a shorty, then you're just gonna need a really kick-ass stereo system to be able to hear it, or just go Cardo in your helmet, because otherwise you're just not gonna be able to hear it, because the exhaust is literally going to take over and overpower the stereo volume. That's just how it is. All right, guys, so I think I got it all. If you think I missed anything, but I think I did get it all. I just love this bike. I absolutely love it. No regrets. This bike is amazing. I can't wait to go on my cross-country trip with it. The biggest thing I'm looking forward to right now is the bar and riser setup, because I think it's just going to totally change the look of the bike. And I will tell you, another thing I will tell you, even though these bars, they look great. These stock Harley bars look great and they feel pretty good. But because they're about 16 inches, they're a little bit like kind of taller than my shoulder. And remember, guys, if I told you, that's why I will never ride with another set of ape hangers, something tall, 16 inches or above, because once you get into that high position with your arms, your shoulders start hurting. Now, mind you, my shoulders don't hurt anymore because I've been doing the proper exercises to kind of remedy that. But if you guys have tall bars and if your shoulder hurts, I'm telling you, that's one of the culprits, is a set of tall bars, because the arms, it's just an awkward position to be in that position. And then a lot of times my hand was falling asleep. So we're gonna be taking this 16 inches down to about 13 inches with the thrashing supply. So about 3 inches lower, and it's gonna be a little bit closer. So it's gonna be really comfortable. A gentleman in Laconia actually had that same exact setup on his bike, but in all black. And I said, buddy, you got to let me sit on your bike. He said, hey, absolutely. I sat on it, very, very comfortable. You could feel it even for slow speed maneuvering. You know it's going to feel good to drop the bike into a turn and stuff. That's another thing with these thrashing floorboards. They're up higher. I have yet, not once, scraped. And I'm telling you, I get this bike down pretty low in the corners, in the twisties. And yeah, it doesn't scrape at all. So yeah, so anyway, drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys think. I'll have all the links down in the video description below. And also let me know if I missed anything. I'll go over, and stay tuned. I'll do another video, I'll do another video about the Apple CarPlay and exactly what happened at the dealership that day. But again, probably for the 5th time, go back and watch that video. It was really good. I'll see you guys later. I'm gonna go chill out inside because it is stifling out here.